Hello, everybody, and welcome. Thanks for joining us for Does It Always Need a Demo? Take your conversation to the next level with Julia Klaric. My name is Jacob Gay, and I'm the Senior SDR Manager here at Consensus, and I'll be your moderator for today's session. DEMOFEST is presented by Consensus. Consensus is intelligent demo automation software that helps scale pre-sales with interactive video demos. You can learn more at goconsensus.com or view the automated micro demo at the link in the Docs tab at the right of your screen. Consensus is proud to provide this event for free to all attendees. And however, we would like to invite each of you to donate to our company's humanitarian organizations if you'd like to. You can learn more about this and donate by visiting the DemoFest Gives Back booth in our virtual expo hall in the Boost tab or at the link in the Docs tab at the right of your screen. We also invite you to join us in our DemoFest community on Discord. Our community is where you can connect with speakers, get exclusive access to content and events, and where the conversation will continue long after the DemoFest event has ended. We encourage all attendees to join us and so many others, and you can join the community at the link in the Docs tab. We encourage you to participate in today's session. On the right of your console, you can see a few ways to engage with us throughout the session. The chat function will allow you to engage with us as well as other attendees. And throughout the session, you may see a few polls. We encourage you to participate as your feedback is important to us. Our speaker will be taking questions from the audience at the end of the session, but we encourage you to ask questions at any time through the Q&A box. If at any time you're having technical difficulties, you can head down to the gear at the bottom of your screen, and here you'll see a help document to help troubleshoot with some of the most common issues. And now I'd like to introduce our speaker. Julia Klaric has worked in IT for the past 14 years in various customer-facing roles, focusing on business application analysis, project management, consulting, team leadership, and pre-sales. She is passionate about customer centricity, leadership and management, psychology, and new technologies. She currently serves as a senior pre-sales solutions engineer at Atlassian, helping the biggest enterprise customers in the Dutch region to make the best out of our products. And with that, I'll turn the rest of the time over to you, Julia.
Thank you, Jacob. Thank you so much. And hello, everyone. So I need to see that I share the right screen. Here we go. All right. It's great to have you, everyone. And yeah, so many people. Exciting. And before we start into the topic, I would like to run a small experiment, a small thought experiment with you. So you all like party. I assume who does like party? Everyone, right? Okay, so I want you to imagine the following situation. You are at a party with candles and delicious meatloaf. Delicious, nice. And then you get in a conversation and they asked you, hey, what do you do for a living? And you say then, oh, I am a sales engineer. And they ask you, oh, really, a sales engineer? Never heard of it. What do you do as a sales engineer, actually? Now, pause. And what I want you to do is really to focus on the first thought that came to your mind. What was your first thought that came to your mind? What do you do as a sales engineer? If you want, you can write it down in the chat. It would be really interesting to see your first thought. But do you know what? Think about, so I bet that the majority, probably not 100%, but many of you would probably think about, okay, what do I do? Oh, sorry, too much clicking. Happens a lot in the pre-sales demonstrations. Here we are. Yeah, I think that many of you would think of doing demos probably as the first thing. Or I help selling software, or I answer technical questions, right? That's what I also thought as I came in pre-sales years ago. Or another example similar to that. How often do you hear from your account executive the following? oh, I have this exciting opportunity running, but we don't need you in the opportunity yet because we don't discuss any technical topics. And yeah, I will let you know as soon as they want a demo. Wait a minute. Are we really someone who only comes in if anything technical needs to be discussed? Or do they need us just to do a demo? Are we that low level? And I tell you, we are so much more than that. And that's what my session today is about. What do we pre-sales actually do and how? My name is Julia Klaric. I'm Senior Pre-Sales Solutions Engineer working currently at Atlassian. In the past 14 years, I was working in various customer-facing roles, and Jacob has mentioned several of them in the software industry. And during this time, I learned a lot, sometimes the hard way. And I learned what is important in interactions with customers, in both pre-sales and post-sales. And today I wanted to share with you some of my lessons learned. So my session is about demos. Does it always need a demo? And what else we can do as pre-sales? Just to make it clear right away, I am not saying that pre-sales should stop doing demos. Presenting a product in a live demonstration is an essential part of the deal, right? Imagine a situation where the customer really needs to see a demo to make a decision. And you would say, no, I don't think so. Or even worse, you show up in a meeting where the customer expects a product demo and you are giving them nothing. On the other hand, who has been in a situation where you were presenting your best pieces of the product and the audience did not care at all? Me. Once, or a couple of times, I had a meeting with a decision maker. So in this exact situation, it was early in my career, and I was totally enthusiastic about our product. And I wanted to convince the decision maker of the same, because he should love it just like me, because it's great, right? And I was showing him the best pieces of it and was waiting for his, oh, wow. Yeah, but guess what? He was not interested in the live demo at all. And actually, he stopped me in the middle of my enthusiastic talk and said, sorry, but that's all great. But can you tell me more about the product roadmap and the strategy? What is your experience actually with other customers in our industry using our product? What is usually their return on investment? Can you talk about that, please? So you see the point. A demo was absolutely not needed in the situation. And I did it anyway and lost completely the audience and missed the point. So today I want to share some of my learnings so that nothing similar could ever happen to you. In this session, we will look into different situations and see some best practices on when we need a demo, what kind of demo do we need, when we should not do a demo, and what we can do instead. But before we are going there, let me clarify one more thing. If we say demo, we might mean different things. We might mean a clicker demo where we really go deep into the product and spending time clicking and showing, like the so-called harbor tour, where you just show everything that you have. And actually, Consensus found out that there are 6 different types of demos. And you see the small QR code with the link if you're interested. Definitely worth a read. Or we can also mean the solution demonstration, or even a better term, solution proposal, right? It's not just the clicky demo of your product, what you present. It's a complete solution where your product plays an essential part of it, but you don't necessarily need to do a clicky demo. It depends on the product, of course. There are other ways to do a solution proposal by creating a future vision consisting of the value, commercials, solution setup, including the current solutions, I don't know, TCO, ROI, etc. Tell me what. So we will talk about that during the session. And now here are some situations that we all have been in, and what pre-sales should do in such situations. Okay, are you ready? Let's go. Short remark, the situations that I have on my slides are not in a sequential order, right? They are just examples of possible meetings that you might have with the customer. And first, on the first meeting, this is really philosophical. Do you do a demo in your first meeting? And there has been a lot of discussions around it. So if you ask me, I wouldn't do a full grade demo in the first meeting. I think it would overwhelm the customer. But what you can do is so-called ignition demo. And all credits to Peter Cohen, who is also having a session here at the DEMOFEST. You just show one view or a screenshot and discuss if this is something that would help the customer to address their urgent needs. And it's also a great way to make a better discovery. Okay, what else? Sure, discovery, we call it discovery, but I would rather call it coaching. Through questions, try to uncover the vision, the pains, seek to understand. And not only in the first meeting, but in every meeting that you have with the customer. Try to understand the situation and shape the ideal solutions together with the customer. That's why it shouldn't be discovery first in the first meeting and then the rest. Remember, discovery is never done. It should be always discovery combined with solutioning, brainstorming, discussions, etc. All right. What else? You can set up a workshop with the customer for a value workshop, architecture workshop, etc. Now, if we review the workshop situation, this is the kind of workshop with the customer to uncover the current situation, the needs, the value of your product, etc. So, would you do a demo? You can also answer in the question, would you do a demo in a workshop with the customer where you try to uncover their current situation, their needs, etc.? Okay, I will relieve it. So if you ask me, I wouldn't do the demo, so not necessarily. Such workshops are a kind of discovery, of course, but you still should call it a workshop, because workshop underlines that everyone plays a part in it and you work something out together. And Andy says, do a demo as a way to spark discovery. Exactly. Partner with sales in demonstrating the value of our product to prospect. Exactly, Nicole. Thank you. All right. Yeah. If you would like to show something to the customer in this workshop, you might show just a little glimpse, like the ignition demo of the product, if needed, to visualize the point. But I wouldn't necessarily dive into the product demo in a workshop. And actually, instead of demoing yourself, I would rather ask the customer to demo for you and to explain to you their current situation. That's crazy, right? We are pre-sales, we are doing demos, but yeah, in that case, just to turn it around. Let the customer explain to you how they get the work done now, what are the current pitfalls and gaps. This is really a great way to learn and also a great way to connect with the customer. And you can ask them if they are willing to do that with you, and if they are not committing to such kind of workshop, well, they are likely not very committed to the deal. So this is a small positive side effect to qualify the opportunity as well. And what else? Of course, listen, ask questions, try to understand, use a whiteboard. Whiteboard is actually a good thing. It's hard to do it virtually, right? Right, as if you are in a meeting room where you can whiteboard everything. There are some tools like Miro, Mural, or just a trackpad with a pen where you can write it down. So there are ways, and I would recommend to explore them all. Good. Now, the next situation is about our product owners asking for a demo. The customer or product owner or a champion, they are specifically asking for a demo for the product owners who need to understand the value. And they are very interested to see the product on a high level. So they need to feel that you understand their needs and want to see the value tailored to that. They are also interested in other things like innovation, security, compliance, legal, commercials, change management, I don't know, consulting, implementation services, many things. This is an important meeting because with these people, you would probably spend most of your time. Does it need a demo here? Absolutely. Here, you can shine with your best skills and a value-driven demo as per your book. Give your best and show what you have learned. If you want, for some functionality, a small tip, you can just show screens. It can also be a slide with a short video or just a screenshot, just to reduce this gap between switching between the slide and the solution, and also reduce clicking. And I have actually one example with me. This is example from Atlassian. It's really a good way to focus on value instead of distracting the audience with mouse clicks. So I'm not telling what is happening, right? This might be awkward now, but if you would have run this video in the background and you would in the meanwhile explain what it does, what you do, and how this would help them, this might be something that would fit into your demonstration. But of course, the expectations should be managed, and you might want to combine the screenshots with a real live demo. But keep in mind, don't think the job is done after the presentation is delivered. And most importantly, it's not just about giving the demo. Use this opportunity to learn more about your customer and to prove the value of the product tied to their needs. Keep asking questions, try to understand the purchase process, even if you are giving the demo, even if you call the meeting, this is the demo of the product. Use every opportunity to have a dialogue with the customer, not just a show. Questions that you could ask always: what steps, approvals are needed? How can we start? What's the timeline? What is our next steps? Build a close partner in crime relationship with these people. They are crucial for your deal. And really use every opportunity to strengthen this relationship. Okay, next one. The customer is in the phase where you present the solution to them. So this is the final presentation. This is also one of the most important meetings in the deal cycle. Usually it takes place after multiple sessions with the customer where you have learned a lot about their situation, strategy, and needs. And most probably they already have seen a demo. You have worked with the customer to shape the solution, and ideally you present it also together. Sometimes it can you can also divide the work. Now, what do you think? And I want you to use the chat if you want. Would you do a demo here? What do you think? In this final presentation, would you do this? Okay, Curtis says absolutely, but high level. And Joseph says not necessarily. Or maybe, okay, divided opinions. All right. Well, I would say it depends. And don't throw stones at me now. Do you remember at the beginning that I said about different kind of demos? Here, it's actually not a demo that the customer needs here. It's a solution demonstration or this solution proposal where your product plays an essential role, but they are not the only player in the chain. So your products are not the only one thing that is important to understand in this final presentation. There is more to the solution. The implementation, the commercials, security and compliance services, strategy, integrations with their workflows and their tool chain, the change management, digital transformation, and whatever, a lot more. And you have so many different people in the call usually. So it depends who you have in the presentation, what kind of solution you have, what was discussed before, and so on. So I wouldn't go into the demo because I think there is a bit risk of getting lost in details. So of course, depending on the product that you provide and the customer situation, you might need to go into the product just to highlight some of the functionalities that would address a specific need. So a bit tips and tricks. Instead of switching to the product from slides to your whiteboard, you could just use screenshots and the short GIF videos that I shared earlier. But the only thing that I definitely wouldn't do, I wouldn't do a deep dive. If I would do a demo, I would just highlight some of the functionalities on a higher level. Play the team with your EA. Align with your AE or whatever you call each other, AE, align with them on the presentation. They can help you to bring it to high level. Or also speaker change during the presentation should keep the attention curve high. Play the team with your champion, with the customer. So what I did in my meetings, I also let the customer, so my champion, present a part from the presentation, and I am the co-presenter. And overall, just keep the big picture. Don't get lost in details. Focus on the outcomes, and it should be fine. Okay, this was the last situation. I have also some best practices and learnings to share with you. Recently, I was in presentation of overall 30 minutes. In the beginning, as usual, this ESET, they want to be very interactive. I want to make it interactive, so please interrupt me if you have any questions. Classic, we all do that, right? But then the presenter talked and talked and talked, and after 10 minutes, they asked if there are any questions. There were none, so they continued and talked and talked. Then a while later, they asked again, are there any questions? Nope. So going forward to the end. This is a good example to think about. How long would you usually talk in your presentation or demo before you pause and let the customer talk? And not just with, are there any questions? So what is the best practice you think? And use the chat. I want to know what you think. How long would you talk until you pause? 8 minutes. Okay, thank you, Curtis. Who else? 5 minutes. Okay. All right. So you didn't open the link. Thank you. Don't open the link yet. It's a spoiler. Okay, let me review. Well, behind the link is the Gong study. and I really recommend to read it, to read through it. There are brilliant diamonds in it. They say that a successful pre-sales is using the accelerated interaction method, as they call it. So this is the quote. We didn't find a single demo that led to a closed deal in the analysis that involved more than 76 seconds of uninterrupted pitching. 76 seconds, that's crazy. Sometimes I need just 76 seconds to share the screen and to put up my slides. Well, that's what they found out. It's interesting, and I think they reviewed thousands of calls, so it should be something behind it. What does it mean? So what is 76 seconds? This is not a demo, no. I mean, 5 minutes sounds good to me, but if we are talking about 76 seconds, that's not a real demo as we used to do. What is it? It's a conversation, right? It's a conversation, it's a dialogue. Just think about it. It's really interesting. The study showed that having a conversation instead of a long presentation or a demo is more effective. And a typical clicker demo is not a conversation, if you agree with me. So really interesting study. Oh, I have another situations. Okay, let's go through them. This is the interesting one. It's actually my favorite. The famous how-to sections. We all know this kind of meetings. The audience is mostly very technical, right? They are end users, they are admins, and they want to understand all of it. How does this work? And that, but we need this and that. Actually, I don't understand why we need another tool. It works fine as it works now. Sounds familiar? Been there, done that. Another story, real story of my life. Once I had such kind of demo. I have collected all their use cases. I have customized the demo to their needs to show how their lives would get easier. I have done a 2 hours deep dive demo, and I have answered all their questions. During the session, they were trying to find anything, but really anything to be able to say, aha, you can't do it, so your solution is not good enough. We have currently a tool and this is working fine for us. It's a real situation. And unfortunately, often the thinking of admins and the end users who are sometimes resistant to change. So it's human nature, right? We people are usually resistant to change. Totally human. Well, the question again is, would you do a demo? And you can write it in the chat again. You probably know my answer already, so I will reveal it. Well, it's not a clear no, right? Because you never know. I would not do a demo, not at the beginning. So at least not at the beginning of your deal cycle. I know that in some point in time, as part of change management and in order to help your champion to manage the change, you might have such kind of session with the audience just to prepare them for the new product, right? But the decision should have been made by then, ideally. And this audience shouldn't be part of the decision-making process, because this is crucial. If you are lucky and this audience is really happy and positive, awesome, plus points, well done, but you can never know. There are politics, there is change resistance, other factors that you cannot know or influence. This can make or this can break your deal. So I wouldn't risk it. So please, if you can avoid it, do avoid it. It's hard to win this fight and a lot is at stake. Of course, if there's someone who has something to say in the final deal review and the decision maker really awaits their evaluation results, so you can't do anything about it, you need to go, you need to do it, then this is your call. Go for it, try to win them as hard as you can. If you can't avoid it, set at least a couple of tips. Set the expectations. Don't plan for a 2 hours demo. This is often overwhelming for the audience who is new to the product. If you're working on specific use cases, make it workshop-like. I mean, you can let your group be part of it. Build in discovery and use some change management techniques like communicate the why is it important for them, how this would make their life easier for them. So it's for them, right? Try not to go down the rabbit hole and stay focused and high level. Remind your audience and yourself, this is not a training. This is a high-level product demonstration. Any detailed questions you can answer afterwards, so stay focused. What could we do to avoid this session? You could send, or you could try at least, to send them a recorded how-to video or send them university training or documentation if available. Or if you work with partners, and Atlassian is working with partners, try to involve them and let the partner do these kinds of how-tos and deep dive sessions. This is also a good way. The SME meeting, subject matter expert. So often we pre-sales are routers, so we are not doing it all ourselves. We connect the customer to the SMEs on specific topic like security, product management, etc. And of course, we do not demo because we don't play the main role in this meeting. It's about the specific subject. But if you are not, even if you are not playing an active part in the meeting, be present, listen carefully, try to use every interaction with the customer to get to know them better and strengthen the relationship. Make sure that there are introductions, for example, be customer's advocate in the meeting, make sure that all of customers' questions are answered, take notes, follow up on any items after the meeting, document and coordinate. So one thing to remember, if you have an SME meeting and you have connected customer and SME, don't lay back and say, oh, wow, great, it's not my meeting, finally, I'm just sitting there. No, that's not the case. Really use every opportunity to connect with the customer, to strengthen the relationship and stay present and listen. And this is the really last one I checked. The strategic C-level meeting, finally, the highest decision maker. But unfortunately, very often, as you know, pre-sales are not necessarily invited to such meetings because no demo is needed and no technical questions would arise. Do you feel my sarcasm here? Yeah, which is a big pity and a bitter loss of a huge opportunity for companies to use their pre-sales craft. Pre-sales are not just someone answering technical questions. Pre-sales is so much more. And sometimes, really sometimes, you show a little glimpse of the product even in the C-level meeting, if they are interested. And of course, depending on the product, if you have any dashboards, for example, which would help the customer, the head of and CEO, whatever, to reach their goal, absolutely, you can show it or screenshot it or whatever. But pre-sales should be invited to those meetings. And pre-sales should play a crucial role in this meeting. You come right to the point and shine from your best strategic side. So if you pre-sales have a chance, you could talk about the overall strategy of your company, Use your knowledge and experience from the industry with other customers and make example of those. And I tell you, C-level loves those examples. Try to position a product from a strategic perspective. Also work with your account executive as a well-balanced team, like a speaker change I mentioned. Or tell the CEO, what did you learn so far about the customer? What is the current situation and the current needs? Because they do not necessarily know what you found out below. What are the options? What are the pains? What are the gaps that you have found out? How would your software bring them, help them in terms of cost, innovation, strategy, employee churn, reporting, making better decisions? What would happen if they do not change? So the cost of no change. What is most important value that you provide to their company? Okay, this was a lot, but there is a lot much more that pre-sales can give to the meeting, or can enhance in the meeting and participate. So make sure you are invited to those meetings. Yeah, be and act strategically, exactly. Okay, and a couple of other strategic tips and tricks that might be helpful that I also learned. The first one is be able to think a step or two ahead. What would be the next step? What is helpful is to shape the customer journey, or we often have this as a sales plan, right? With the phases, who is doing what. So think a step ahead. What should happen in the next step? What needs to happen? How to influence the situation? How to make sure that our situation that we need also occur. Of course, you need to have experience to master it, and you should start practicing right now. And of course, keep the bigger picture in mind. This is an interesting one because I know we pre-sales are always overloaded. And in anything that you do, ask yourself, does it make sense? How does it help me and the customer to get to the desired outline? Don't waste your time with unimportant tasks that take away your time. And also consider in every situation, do I need a demo in this situation? Because sometimes it's not necessary. Know your customer, of course. Make research on the industry, make research on the customer. If you don't have experience with other customers in this industry, ask your peers, right? You have your customer cases, customer studies, you have probably some knowledge base or anything, or just talk to your peers, research some customer stories. Overall, what is going on in the industry, what is important to other customers in the same industry with the same size. And of course, what is important to your customer particularly. This is interesting. Set the expectations for the meeting and position yourself right from the beginning. How do you usually introduce yourself? Yeah. Shall I tell you how I used to introduce myself? So it went like this. Hi, I'm Julia. I am your technical contact, and I'm here to help you with any technical questions about the product. Bam. I did not even pay attention that my introduction was so important, because it was setting the customer's expectations for me, and it was completely wrong. So I was telling the customer, I'm just technical guy here, I'm just technical girl, just answering your technical questions. And I didn't pay attention to that. It was like, yeah, that's what I do. But I do really much more, and I should communicate it in the right way. So review now, write it down, review how you introduce yourself in your customer meetings. Rehearse it with your AEs and peers and memorize it. You should be able to spell it if I wake you up in the middle of the night. Andy, who are you? All right. Build a relationship. Yeah, one important trick that I have learned. Don't perceive customers and yourself as two different parts on different sides of the table. So see yourself and the customer as one single team trying to solve a problem. Because often it's like this. Okay, the customer is here and we are here and we are talking and then we are going away from each other. That's not very helpful. You really need to come together from both sides, from the customer side and vendor side. You should see yourself really as a team who are working together with the same interest to find the best solution for the customer, right? To find the solution and to work really as a team. This is really crucial, especially in the enterprise sales where I am right now. Our deal cycles take 12 to 18 months. So you work with these people for years. Aren't you a team? Of course you are. So be the team. Work with your team on the same project, on the same value, on the same side. And yeah, just do it. I know it's sometimes difficult because it takes time, right, to build this relationship. You need some kind of team together, face-to-face meetings, offsites or anything just to come together as a team. But it's worth it. Okay, and if you haven't already, research or take a course on value selling. So this is really something useful. If you can conduct value workshops with the customer, because why do customers buy your product? It's about the value, right? The value should be in the middle. If the value is understood and accepted, the price is secondary. So I really recommend to research something on value selling or even conduct a course. Okay, now we are already at the end of the session. I know it was a lot, but if there is one thing that I would like you to take away from the session is the following. Know who you are. Are you just someone who is doing demos and answering technical questions? Absolutely no. So keep in mind, pre-sales is not just about doing demo. You don't need a demo in each and every meeting, and still pre-sales are an essential part of the deal cycle. And you can do so much more than that. For example, strategic advisor. So sales engineering is not an event, it's a process. So your job is not done after you have done a demo and got the technical win, as Chris White calls it. Your job is to be a strategic advisor, building trustful relationships on all levels, from the bottom to the C-level. And also remember, we are counterparts of AEs. What does it mean? We are owning the account from the strategic product perspective. Think about it. Usually AEs are owning the account. Of course, they are owning it, but we own them too. We own those accounts from the technical, strategic product perspective. And we are responsible for the relationship with the customer. And there is so much more. And discover what you can do, and then you will be unstoppable. Thank you. And the link is my LinkedIn profile, by the way. If you want to connect, I would be happy to.
Thank you so much for that awesome presentation, Julia. I appreciate that. One of the questions that I had is, if you're at an org where an AE, like the sales team counterparts, they only see you as kind of the technical person or the person to bring in for a lot of that technical stuff. How do you kind of switch that mindset with the sales team you're packed together with, or you're connected with? That's kind of the word I'm saying. How do you go from just being that technical person to being more of a strategic advisor, having them see you more as a strategic advisor to bring in?
Yeah, that's a good question. The first thing, and we had this yesterday in the panel about the relationship between SE and AE, the crucial part is really to build the trust, to build the relationship between AE and SE, and also to create this common understanding of the roles. What is each role? So what is the role of AE? How do you see yourself? How should everyone see yourself? And what are you responsible for and accountable for? And the same for SE as well. So you can talk openly to your AE and agree on a common understanding. Okay, I can do more. Please let me do more. I can do this. I have these insights. Or also, if you are in the account, you can prepare the meetings with your AE and bring your ideas. If you have an idea, just speak up and say, can we do this and can we do that? I think this, learning on the job, plus that you have the understanding of the role, the mutual understanding of the roles with your AE and your team, this should help.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much. We have one more Q&A. It says, Julia, in a high volume sales motion, how would you adapt your approach to accommodate the faster pace?
The faster pace, you mean if the sales cycle is too fast?
Yeah. So I think what they're saying is, in a faster, quicker sales cycle, how do you adopt your approach to meet that?
Yeah. You don't need to use everything to do everything the same in each cycle. So what I want to say is every deal cycle and every customer, every account is different. You just pick what you need and try to stay to have the base, the strategic base. And of course, if you do not need this meeting and if you do not need the value workshop, then let it be. But if you have the need, just think about it, that you have this option, and just to juggle the pieces to put them all as a Tetris that is better for every deal cycle. So in the smaller accounts or in the smaller opportunities, you might have just 2 interactions with the customer. You don't really need a relationship because they just buy and that's it. Doesn't mean it's good for the relationship, for adoption, for example, but you for sure have some post-sales teams that could take care of that as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that. Another question is, how do you check yourself? If you think that you're doing really well on a lot of things, which I know a lot of us can, is we think we're doing really well. But in all reality, we're not doing as well on some of the things that we think we're doing. How do you go about checking yourself in this process to see if you really are as good as you think you are, or if there are some areas that could need improvement?
This is a good question, really. I rely heavily on the feedback of my account teams. With account teams, I mean AE, but not necessarily. It might be the EDR or business development representative. It might be some other teams, the post-sales teams that I work with. What I do is I get regularly feedback. Not just come on, we are doing feedback sessions. But after every interaction with the customer, for example, after every meeting, I try to have a debrief and to ask, how did it find you? What could I do better? Not after every meeting, of course. It does not work out, but I try as often as possible. And of course, the regular retrospectives are very useful to run with your AEs, or if you have a bigger account team, then in the account team. And also share the experience with your peers, with your SE peers. Then you might think, oh, they do this and do that, and I don't do this. So you can be self-aware and make a note. Okay, this might be also a good idea, and to measure yourself on that and to implement it afterwards.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much, Julia, for answering the questions. And then once again, thank you for a wonderful session. We're about ready to finish up with the session here. So as a reminder, we want to remind everyone about our DEMOFEST game, where each session you attend and each session feedback survey you fill out gets you points to win some of our awesome prizes that you see here. We're also very excited to be bringing DEMOFEST on the road again as DEMOFEST X. We had a great time in San Francisco in March, and we can't wait to bring the event to Dublin, London, and New York City later this year. You can register to join us at any of these events at demofest.com, which is also at the link in the Docs tab on the right of your screen. We also encourage you to stop by our expo hall to visit our premier partners of DEMOFEST. Remember, there is no transfer of money involved in this event, so all of our partners here have gone above and beyond to contribute to making this event a success for all of you. Once again, thank you for joining us for Does It Always Need a Demo? Take your conversation to the next level, and thank you to Julia for that valuable insight and presentation. Up on the screen are the upcoming sessions. You will automatically be pushed to the next session in your track, and you can switch tracks or sessions by toggling to the agenda tab at the top left of your screen, and we'll see everybody soon. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.